Welcome back to The Explainer. I've got to tell you, I'm absolutely thrilled to jump into our topic today. We're going to be exploring some truly fascinating source material from a remarkable text called The Laws of Rebirth, and we'll be specifically unpacking its profound fifth chapter. This chapter fundamentally challenges how we view our day-to-day existence and, well, what happens when it all comes to an end.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want you to imagine something for a second. What if your entire life, every triumph, every little mistake, every quiet moment where you thought you were completely alone, was actually taking place inside a monitored room? Are we constantly being watched from the other side? It's a pretty striking thought, isn't it? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go. Okay, let's dive into this. We are looking at the very foundation of our explainer today, a chapter beautifully titled On the Eternal Nature of Life. This is exactly where these profound metaphysical concepts originate, and we're going to break them all down, step by step.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, the spiritual training ground. Second, the two-way mirror. Third, tech versus spirituality. Fourth, the silver cord case study. And finally, your life's true mission.
Section 1. The Spiritual Training Ground.
Right out of the gate, we need a massive perspective shift. We so often think of Earth as our primary home, right, or our final destination. But the text asks us to look at it completely differently, as a temporary classroom. Studying spiritual truths isn't just some weekend hobby or a casual passing interest. According to the author, it is quite literally compulsory education for the soul. Just like math, science, or reading in grade school, learning the nature of the spiritual world is a mandatory curriculum. And we're all enrolled in it right now, simply by being alive.
Moving right along to Section 2, the two-way mirror.
This brings us to what is easily one of the most striking metaphors in the entire book. It defines the real world, which is the eternal, spiritual realm, as a place that is constantly observing our earthly lives. It likens this dynamic to looking through a two-way mirror into an interrogation room. We, down here on Earth, are in the room. We can't see out. But the spiritual realm? It's right there on the other side of that glass, watching our spiritual progress in real time. It completely bridges the unseen world with our tangible, day-to-day reality.
Section 3. Tech versus Spirituality.
Now, having established that Earth is this monitored training ground, the author issues a major, glaring warning to modern society. There's a deep tension here. The author argues that as a civilization's scientific and technological capabilities rapidly advance, its spiritual awareness absolutely must grow at the exact same pace to maintain equilibrium. Think about it. An advanced scientific civilization without a correspondingly high spirituality is incredibly dangerous. It essentially loses its soul. We have to consciously balance our external, technological progress with internal, spiritual growth.
Section 4, the silver cord case study. So, let's shift from abstract theory into actual practice. But before we get into the specifics of this real-world story, we need to define a crucial piece of spiritual anatomy, the silver cord. Think of this as the vital, energetic tether connecting your physical, earthly body to your eternal soul. It's the literal lifeline between the two worlds. When a person reaches the end of their life, this cord must be severed for the soul to properly transition.
To show us exactly how these mechanics work, the author of The Laws of Rebirth, Ryuho Okawa, shares a deeply personal account. He details the passing of his own father, Saburo Yoshikawa, who actually served as the honorary advisor of Happy Science. His father's passing serves as the ultimate, real-world test of what happens when someone possesses deep spiritual knowledge.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer, incredible efficiency of his transition. Look at this timeline. Minute 0 marks his physical passing. In just over a single hour, his silver cord was completely severed. And from there, it was a smooth, immediate transition into eternity. For many people who completely lack spiritual understanding, this process can take days of confusion and clinging. But for him, it took barely an hour. Why?
The logic behind this flawless transition is beautiful in its simplicity. His silver cord snapped cleanly because he had deeply internalized those spiritual truths during his lifetime. He actually did his compulsory education. Because he had a firm, unwavering belief in the afterlife, there was absolutely zero hesitation or fear when the moment arrived. And most importantly, he had an utter lack of worldly attachment to hold him back in the interrogation room.
The text really hits the nail on the head with this quote, "Possessing spiritual knowledge makes a decisive difference in the dying process." I really want to emphasize that this isn't meant to be a sad story, quite the opposite actually. It's a brilliantly successful case study of a soul passing its final earthly exams with flying colors.
It proves that what we learn here directly impacts what happens next.
Finally, Section 5, your life's true mission. The obvious question is, what do we actually do with all this information right now, today? And this brilliantly illustrates how the source text distills these heavy metaphysical theories into a highly actionable three-step life mission for us. To fulfill your earthly mission, you must 1. Constantly maintain the perspective of the real world. Always remember that two-way mirror. 2. Live your earthly life actively as a purposeful training ground, not just a place to accumulate wealth or status. And 3. Make every single effort to pass this light of truth to as many people as possible. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to wrap up today's explainer. You are in the training ground right now. When your time eventually comes and your silver cord is ready to sever, will you hesitate and cling to the glass? Or will you be completely ready for the world on the other side? Think about that, keep studying, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.